Seven, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother.
Welcome to Demetria Reads, where I have fun putting my voice to the written word to entertain you, inform you, and empower you. My name is Demetria Bridges, and I'm a Beantown girl who loves the power of her blueprint sound. And on this podcast, I narrate blogs, articles, poems, novel excerpts, anything that arrests my attention and moves me to pull out my vocal palette and start to paint. I'd love for you to subscribe, write a review, and of course, spread the word. Okay, let's get to today's inspiration. So today I'm taking a detour from the usual stories that I've been narrating because I saw this article on marketing and I thought it was very, very interesting. And it speaks about a company that when a company tries to do all they can to really, really make an impact and assign meaning and intent to their brand, you know, when they get it right and when they get it wrong. And what makes this really interesting is that this was about the company Gillette and how they really tried to sort of jump on the bandwagon that other companies, you know, especially companies that really purport the greatness and courage and strength of women or nonprofits. And I'm not saying that they were trying to mimic them, but and not riding on their own steam, but they really tried to sort of jump in on the wave. And this author really helped to open our eyes as to what they could have done better. And so I thought it was a really interesting read, and I hope you enjoy it. So here it is. Gillette Brand purPositioning. What's Behind Toxic Masculinity? By Sedar Paktin. Gillette's new campaign and cultural brand update has failed big time in the eyes of many people and professionals. There has been a huge backlash not only from men who feel misrepresented in the campaign video, but also from many marketing and advertising experts that see it as a brand purpose message gone wrong. The critics have some merit to it, but I think it goes deeper than that, and we can consider this failing as half a success. They got the cultural insight right, but executed it in a wrong way. Many people say that the ratio of dislikes for the video on YouTube shows how big they failed, and some say that this significant response rate, either like or dislike, is a good thing. I believe all reaction together shows that they've got something right. If they did it all wrong, people wouldn't have reacted to it at all. I'll explain further why I think this way and what may have failed in implementing insight into communication. Brand purpose is the new positioning. We see in marketing with each new phase in the global culture, there arises another value and dominates the whole world. To give examples from recent history, for some time it was a science we had seen in commercials, that some toothbrush, detergent, or even toilet paper being developed by scientists. We would see scientific proof of that happening in the commercial briefly. Then came the age of design. And this time, a similar toothbrush was designed by Panini Fiera Design Studio of Ferrari cars. And in this age, we observed the rise of MacBooks, iPhones, and design thinking, etc. Around the same time, it has been certain that we were going towards a climate apocalypse, and being sustainable and eco-friendly has begun to rise. In this era, we have seen rustic or natural packaging emerge and developed more jargon around nature, waste, organic, etc. And now we are in the age of wellness, mindfulness, and purpose. It is found in many research and trend reports that the millennials are looking for meaning in their lives. They do not want to get into the corporate machine and waste their lives behind a desk. And this created a great deal of anxiety for big brands, their human resources, talent management as they say it now, and target audience were slipping away. So the big brands had to transform once again. They are becoming purposeful brands, which can create an impact on the world issues that they created at the first place. I think that's a great approach. A bit late, but not too late recognition about their influence on culture and well-being of the world. So they started to attach a purpose to their brands. That movement also brought the rise of social entrepreneurship, where business models are integrated into social good. Some tried to do it genuinely and made it a part of their business model, as they call themselves social enterprises, and some big companies changed their approach towards this. I know that it's not easy and quick to change a big brand. As we see progress, we are hopeful about them. And some are just purpose washing their brands as they did greenwashing before. Gillette, purPositioning or purpose washing? I think in Gillette's situation, it is a bit early to judge them to do purpose washing. We need to give them some time to see if they are standing by their word and actually changing the company's way of working, culture, and business model around what they claim to be. We know that it's not enough to donate a few $1 million to civil society and open up competition around a social cause. It's well known that that is the first trick in the book. But let's see where they'll go from there. Some people claim that when you dominate the market 50% in USA and almost 70% in the UK, you can't be bold in messaging, not to offend your target audience like Nike did. Being bold is the follower's strategy, and they can risk to be divisive among their target audience by being bold. I don't agree with that, because if dominating brands are to keep silent as long as things are going well for them, that's not going to be a long-term success. As the world is changing so rapidly, and it's becoming more of a cultural space, and price/product/service no longer is not much different than each other, brands are seeking ways to be purposeful and meaningful for their audience to be a part of their lives. It's all about resilience now. If you cannot adapt in time, you'll go extinct. Darwinist capitalism. Remember Kodak and its experience with adapting to change? The bigger the brand is, the longer it will take for it to shift gears. Therefore, leading brands need to start changing as soon as they realize the shift. Imagine a whale and a dolphin and how quickly they can move. On the other hand, some people claim that Gillette got it all wrong. I think not. When you get such a strong response, it shows that you actually hit the right point, but you hit it the wrong way, so it hurts. In this sense, getting negative feedback is still a good thing because it gives you an opportunity to amend it in your next step. I want to observe Gillette's The Best Men Can Be campaign and discuss what I think about how it went wrong with this approach. Insight versus imagination. I believe that Gillette got their insight right. They figured out what was wrong and what needed to change, but they got their imagination wrong. Finding the right insight doesn't mean that you are going to execute it successfully. You need to imagine how that insight can move people, how it motivates them to act on your messaging. The director, Kim Gehrig, knows this best. She directed one of the best examples of behavior change campaigns in the world a few years ago for Sports England with This Girl Can campaign. But there was something missing in the first This Girl Can video, and I think the same thing is missing here as well. Empathy. Imagine yourself being in that situation first. Empathize with your audience. The video was great, and it created a significant impact on women who were refraining from exercising, not only in the UK, but also around the world. However, I believe the implementation was missing deeper cultural understanding. But as I will elaborate about progress below, it was a huge first step, and by making this and getting it somewhat right, helps you to take the second step next time. The research gave them that the main reason behind women for not exercising were body shaming and feeling judged. So she focused on women being comfortable with their bodies, the behavior in the video. But if we dig deeper, there's something more, the emotion behind it. The feelings were covered in the second video by FCB Inferno, Being a Woman in Any Condition, because it's not only about your body. Women are undermined, underestimated, and judged in every domain of life, not only doing sports or exercising. So the second video says, I'm a woman phenomenally, and I do everything with that confidence. They use Maya Angelou's inspirational poem, Phenomenal Woman, in her own voice. Here we see women comfortable with themselves, not their bodies. The second video is more diverse as well. Not only women, but also LGBT plus community, not only women with different body types, but of different ages, cultural heritages, beliefs, and so on. I think the difference of approach and messaging between these two videos can help us understand what's wrong with the Gillette campaign as well. In the first video, it's focusing on the body parts and imperfections of women, the symptom, the behavior. In the second one, The video focuses on being a woman, and we see more smiling faces, not body parts. The cause, the emotion. Emotions versus behaviors. We live in an era that we have finally realized that humans are not that ubermesh like rational beings. We have feelings too. We laugh, cry, feel lonely, feel exuberant, feel sexy, feel depressed, feel something. Deal with it. Behaviors are not always rational acts that are a result of conscious decisions all the time. They are triggered by emotions, cultural contexts, habitus, and even the weather forecasts. That's why neuromarketing, cultural marketing, multisensory marketing, and such are on the rise. Remember how Marsault, the protagonist in Albert Camus's canonical work, The Stranger, shot the Arab man on the beach? The sun had nothing to do with it? The best example of this would be, as I am not myself when I'm hungry as well, is Snickers campaigns. They got the basic human behavior and found the feeling behind that. They turned it into micro stories that we can empathize with. People loved it because it was about what made them act like that. Imagine if they did a campaign saying that behave yourself when you're hungry. Would it be as successful? Gillette's campaign is focusing on behaviors and forgets about what triggers those behaviors. If we only cure the symptom, we cannot cure the sickness. It only removes those symptoms, and deep down inside it grows, and there will be no sign of it to realize that it exists until it gets worse. That's why it is important to distinguish between indicators or signs and their reference or meanings. That's what we are looking for. What's the essential thing behind this behavior? And it has a deeper meaning to unearth. Problem-oriented versus solution-oriented. We live in the age of solution-oriented communication. The best example to this would be Charity Water's 2009 campaign and 10th year campaign. In the first video, they show us dirty water sources, people with bare feet, poverty, and skinny children. Then they ask us to help them to change this. They are showing us the problem and expecting us to be motivated to change that. This is the approach of the 20th century, where we were thought to be rational beings. Define the problem, and people will naturally contribute to the solution. Well, it's not like that. Sorry. When I have been working with Change.org Turkey as senior campaigner, we have seen in many tests that people do not react to problem-oriented negative messaging and negative imagery. If there's an injured dog or a crying kid or a demolished building, etc., people did not want to see that and refrained from participating because that made them feel bad and they wanted to stay away from that feeling. When the imagery and messaging has changed into a solution-oriented, positive one which may be achieved by winning the campaign, people began to react to that in excessive numbers. It's the same thing we can see in Charity Water's 10th year video, the bliss of water, happy children drinking clean water, people smiling and digging wells in Africa. Just check their Instagram, and the only thing you'll see how happy the people are as they have access to clean water. So the Gillette campaign is also focusing on the problem. They show us what is bad and ask us to change it. As I have stated above, that's an approach that doesn't work, nor is it credible in this age. That's why people are overreacting to it. They are being presented the problem, not the solution. Empowering versus lecturing. This brings us to another value of our age. When you show the solution to people, the next thing is to empower them. That's one of the main differences with any other brand purpose campaign that we have seen so far. Dove, Real Beauty, Always Like a Girl, Sports England, This Girl Can, Nike, Dream Crazy, and so on. You can see that even the titles are empowering. When you look at the messaging of each of them, they are empowering their audience to do something. In comparison, Gillette campaign is asking their audience to stop doing something. Lecturing or teaching manners never works. Never. Especially not in this age. We are in an age of positive change, and it is implemented by empowering people to act in a new way. Not saying, don't do that again, but by saying, do something different, do better, etc. Dig deeper next time. I believe that Gillette has done a great job by trying to revitalize the brand and make a brand purPositioning. I think it was time for a masculinity brand to step up as well. Most global examples are focusing on women empowerment, and it's good. A masculinity brand needed to take a step forward to empower men for becoming better or the best they can be in this new age. They've got the insight and thinking right, but the imagination and implementation wrong. Because they focused on what seemed to be the wrong thing, the behavior or problem, not the causing emotion or solution. They need to dig a bit more deeper to uncover the real cause behind the toxic masculinity next time. I believe we'll have to see that in their new campaign. I hope you enjoyed today's selection, and I hope to read to you again. I'll be reading a few times a week and would love to hear your thoughts. So leave your blueprint sound via a review, and I'll catch up with you next time on Demetria Reads.